Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode. Glad to be back. Was only gone for a few days, but things happen. Okay, now that I've addressed it, if you want to learn more, go ahead and check out the live stream that I did a few days ago. Anyway, getting into today's video, I want to talk about KYC and why I think it's a scam, at least by the way that centralized exchanges are using this tactic. And yeah, a lot of scammy things to be addressing there. So if that's what you're interested in, I think you should be. Go ahead and keep watching. As this video progresses, I will be, talking about other deeper contextual references and important things to consider when considering handing out your personal, private, identifying information. So let's get into it. So, what most centralized cryptocurrency exchanges do nowadays is they'll allow you to create an account with just an email. Super easy. Anyone can have an email. They'll let you go ahead and trade to your heart's desire, as many trades as you want to do on that exchange. But if you ever want to withdraw your coins from that exchange, maybe because you want to take legitimate ownership over your coins, that's when usually you get slapped with some KYC verification requirements. They're essentially holding your coins for ransom until you pay with your very private personal identifying information. You might have heard of Poloniex's recent interesting move to remove KYC requirements shortly after it was bought out by the founder of Tron, also known as Justin's son. Allegations that that guy being a scam artist kind of follows him wherever he goes. But anyway, this move seemed to perplex quite a few people, wondering, how they were able to all of a sudden take away the KYC requirements. Wasn't that some big thing that, governments are laying down the law, scaring them into identifying its users? A lot of people wonder why, if this was so easy for Poloniex and no repercussions yet, they're wondering why other centralized exchanges don't also remove this friction that is the KYC requirements, providing identifying information, requiring governmentally issued IDs, which some people don't have, and essentially taking them out of the game of entering this cryptocurrency space in the legitimate way. But here's what I think. I think that Poloniex has not very recently become legitimately decentralized. And so the governmental pressures will be boiling down on Poloniex over time. And I don't think that this is going to be some permanent move. They're going to do what so many other exchanges have done that I described earlier in this video, and that is they will gladly take your money free, easily, without KYC. But if you want it back, you're going to have to pay. And unfortunately, you will be paying with information that should be considered immensely important to you. And if you don't, who knows what they're going to do with it? I mean, it is a centralized exchange. They are the ones who hold the private keys for the wallets that you are, using to store your cryptocurrencies on that exchange. If you never go through the KYC requirements, or if they have a statute of limitations for like how long you have to claim your coins, I'm sure, I don't know, I haven't studied all of the policies of all of the centralized exchanges. I can imagine some of them have some kind of policy like that because, again, they are in control of the wallet, so they can do whatever they want with them. So that might be a little tricky thing that Poloniex is doing. I'm definitely, there is nothing confirming this. It's just my speculation, an idea that I had. I'm sharing it with you guys. Could be a reason why Poloniex has gone KYC for now. Definitely don't think that will be lasting very long at all, and it will be interesting to see the uproar, if any, that is caused by the people who suddenly need to go through the KYC process to get their coins. So let's talk about this immensely important information of yours. There's an interesting concept that has been developing over the past, I don't know, say 10 years, called surveillance capitalism, especially with smartphones, smart appliances. Everything can listen in on you. Everything can study your behavior. Artificial intelligence is in nearly everything now, trying to understand what you're going to do, why you do it, and how they can sell you things better. It's really a horrendously profitable market now that relies on things like subtle information gathering, targeted advertisements, and really the commodification of your private personal information and whereabouts and habits. This very thing is the lifeblood of companies like Google, Amazon, and Facebook, just to name the big ones, which by the way, altogether those companies, their like combined valuation for 2019 is over or around $1.5 trillion. If you don't think your personal information is very valuable, take a look at at that number again and understand that it is very valuable information for them, and they will milk you for all that you have for it, and they're very tricky in making you think that you need to give it away to get what you want. That's definitely not the case. And thanks to this crypto space, there are many ways that you can get around things like this by using things like the Brave browser and using the BAT, the basic attention token, and also using alternatives to Google like DuckDuckGo, which is very much more private. They don't take cookies. They don't remember what you're looking for. They definitely respect your privacy a whole lot more than Google is. So anyway, those are my two little tiny tips for trying to protect yourself a little bit more. Make it a little bit more difficult for things like Google and Amazon to make trillions of dollars off of your information that you give them freely. Now, I'm not saying that centralized cryptocurrency exchanges are definitely directly profiting off of your personal information that they gather. Maybe that's the case with some of the scammy ones. Maybe they're straight up taking your information and selling it on the black market. Who knows? The second you give it away, it is at the discretion of whoever you gave it to value it as much as you do, which by the way will never happen because it's not their information. It's someone else they've never met before. They have no idea who you are. There's no emotional attachment for you and them. Anyway, if you read the privacy policies of a lot of these centralized exchanges, they will all say that in the case of, let's say, they get bought out or they go bankrupt, your information is included in that sale and will be passed hands to whoever bought it. Essentially, they're taking your information and giving it to the highest bidder, whoever that might be, regardless of their plans for your personal information. As if that wasn't a big enough red flag for you, here's a little nugget of information for you. Most centralized cryptocurrency exchanges that require KYC verification do not run your information, store it, or do that whole process themselves. In fact, most of them outsource that to other third parties. Most of the time, they're not going to tell you that. You would be surprised how hard it was for me to find any exchange that talked about their KYC partnerships and if they have hired someone else to deal with that. Essentially, when you're doing KYC verification on an exchange and you are assuming that you're giving it to that exchange, they're not telling you, oh, by the way, this is someone else entirely. We're not actually dealing with this. So shortly before the supposedly decentralized exchange, CryptoBridge, all of a sudden required KYC verification from all of their users, which by the way is a huge indication that that exchange is not decentralized. They went ahead and used a KYC company called Fractal. I will be going back to that company in a second. And Binance has actually surprisingly been quite transparent about the fact that they have partnered with a KYC company called Refinitiv, and they deal with all of the KYC process of storing the people's information, dealing with it, viewing it, having their hands on it. Another one that I checked out that was interesting was Kraken, and that is because they actually handle all of the KYC verification processes in-house. So at least there's that. But let's go back to that one company that CryptoBridge hired and take a look at that company's privacy policy. All of these privacy policies are very important to read. They might be very dry, a lot of legal, language, but it gives you a hint as to what you're dealing with. And if you're going to be handing over your private information that is very valuable on the dark web, or whoever wants to buy it, definitely take a look at who you're going to give it to and their policies for dealing with it. You might be severely disappointed. Anyway, so Fractal, the one who CryptoBridge hired, here is a bit from their privacy policy. Because of the nature of the internet, mobile networks, and the devices which access the internet and or mobile networks, the services may not be accessible when needed, and that information, data, audio, and video transmitted over the internet and or mobile networks may be subject to interruption or third-party interception and modification that is outside the control of Fractal. To which I say, well, at least they're being honest to the fact that they know that they cannot guarantee the absolute security of your information, and they know that they can't always guarantee to prevent your information from entering the hands of a third party or hacker or whoever it may be. Believe it or not, some KYC companies, these aren't centralized exchanges anymore, some KYC companies who are built specifically to deal with massive amounts of very personalized information. Talk about a honeypot for a hacker anyway. Some of these KYC companies completely sidestep the security evaluation or security requirement of storing very personal identifying information of a massive amount of people. Again, links to this can be found down below. You're seeing it behind me right now. But yeah, that's a very sad statement from one privacy policy that I found. And even worse yet, some of these, one at least that I found, KYC company, does not even provide a link for their privacy policy or privacy statement on their homepage of their website. Man, that is scary. All this to say, there is a whole host of different kinds of companies that would love to get their grubby little hands on your information because it is very valuable data for them for one reason or another. And before you give it away, at least make sure it's worth the sacrifice.